welcome back. So we are at day 21. It's about 11 a.m. So I've been up for a little while. Did not go to bed till super late because of the rain and the winds, and I only have a few hours of sleep. My boss is already calling because the daytime cook called out of work, and they don't have anybody. So I technically don't start till 3. And if I did go in right now, I'd have to work open to close. So not really what I want to do. However, I probably will end up going in early, pick up a couple of extra hours, and kind of stuff for the rest of the day. So we've already talked about the job element, the daytime job. So let's talk about the company, because I know that's on everybody's mind. If you own a company, you're working a day job, how do you have no money? So we've already discussed relatively in detail the daytime job. There's way more detail I could possibly go into. But let's talk about my company. So I'm dealing with a divorce, and I wanted to kind of get outdoors more. I wanted to bond with my son more, and just have, positive, healthy activities. So I fish constantly, so I got more into fishing, started a fishing YouTube channel, and started picking up some fishing sponsorships. And when I started doing all this, started designing some apparel, just basically to kind of help brand the YouTube channel. And it got to a point where my buddy and I were talking about whether or not the apparel could sell or not. I didn't think people were going to buy it. He did. So, in 2018, I believe we started November of 2018. We started what would become the company. But we started the YouTube channel, Facebook page, and I got bored one night, and at like 12:30 at night, I ended up sort of accidentally launching the company. I came out with a little bit of apparel and posted that in front of like 20,000 people on different Facebook groups and whatnot. So within 60 seconds, we had like 47 messages of how do we buy this stuff, and sorry, I'm getting some messages. How do we buy this stuff? How do we pro staff for your company? All this and that. We didn't even have a company. We were just trying to sell some apparel to help support the YouTube channel, to be able to go on different adventures and kind of travel around a bit, all that. So very, very quickly, we kind of put this thing together. So I believe it was like January. We had kind of launched this thing, and then early February, we kind of officially made everything a company. Built a website, all of that stuff. Got everything registered with the state that I'm in, and took on a bunch of field staff people. So we originally just launched this as an apparel company, and we went through a lot of trial and error with the apparel that we chose. The original T-shirts that we chose were 100% cotton T-shirts, just a standard type of T-shirt. I went out fishing in that shirt and I hated it. It was super heavy. It was really hot that day, so the shirt was kind of sticking to me. I did not like it. And we ended up going with a way better, higher-end shirt. The brand that we chose and then the type of material that we chose was going to be more fitting towards anglers, being out on the water all day. And with the sponsorships that I ended up picking up with the different companies, I was lucky enough to start putting in different types of fishing gear. So one of the sponsors I have is a fishing rod sponsor. They make rods for us. We ended up kind of teaming up with a jig company where they made our very first jig that we no longer carry. I just wanted one jig with the company colors. The team that I had wanted to have more jigs. And very, very long story short, I ended up starting to make bass jigs, and that would be kind of the saving grace, but also doomsday for the company. So with the divorce, I was filming myself on these different adventures and everything for the YouTube channel, but my son wanted to be a part of it. So during a settlement conference, I had asked specifically that, I was launching a company. I wanted my son to be a part of it, and I needed to know if there was anything legally with the divorce that would bar me from having him part of the company. Both my wife's attorney and the guardian ad litem that was representing my son, who was an absolute joke, they all said no, that everything was fine with the divorce. I just needed to make sure I followed state and federal laws when it came to minors, which I had already done my research and all of that. So I had gotten permission that he could be part of the company, and so we officially launched the company. I started having my son part of it. He ended up picking up some sponsorships from different fishing companies. We ended up making his own logo, kind of his little handle, because we weren't using his real name. And he had his own apparel line. He had his own fishing rod line, his own sponsors, and he would film. He would do product reviews. We would go on tons of different adventures. We started hiking, getting outdoors more. We started shooting videos, catching crayfish and fishing and just all this stuff. Little challenges inside the house. We would, he believes in Bigfoot, so we would search for Bigfoot and film that. And we put all this stuff up on the YouTube channel. And during another settlement conference, I was essentially blackmailed to drop arguments over some financial stuff in exchange for a lot more visitation time. I ended up agreeing because the financial stuff I didn't really care about. It was more important to have more time with my son. So they were supposed to be drafting that paperwork up, and instead of drafting it up, I was hit with a 20-page motion, basically attacking me, the company, and my son's involvement in the company, where I was accused of, by shooting the YouTube videos and the Facebook pages and all of that I was intentionally placing my son in danger of predatory attack. And then from a business standpoint, they used business law and basically cited likeness and misappropriation. So essentially saying that I was using my son's image to financially benefit myself without consent. And that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Basically, the argument was like as if I was taking somebody else and exploiting them without their permission to benefit my own pocket. We weren't doing anything like that. Again, my son had all of his own stuff. Anything that was sold, he was given money for it. And it was really more so about branding of the company, where the whole purpose of the company was about getting more families outdoors, husbands, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, mothers, fathers, spending more time together outside, together with their kids, whatever, and finding an adventure. So I had gone to the court hearing, walking in planning to lose. It was a pretty intense argument, back and forth, a lot of back and forth. And the judge ended up siding with me that day, that I didn't do anything wrong. I followed the laws 100%. My son's involvement with the company wasn't a bad thing. It was actually a good thing. And the judge was on my side. And essentially, pretty much shut the two lawyers up with their arguments. We had a lot of support and a lot of backing from the fishing industry, and so we continued. However, while my son and I still continued to do our adventures, I didn't film as much, because my wife was using the videos to attack me in court, and she would just try to find every single little thing. But then what happened was they handed in a document that they forced me to sign off on that I really didn't want to, and that turned out to be a massive mistake on my part. But we ended up in a trial, and they were basically using the argument of custody. So my wife has primary placement and sole custody. I just have visitation. And the way it works here in my state is I essentially have no rights to my son. None. I have no legal say-so in anything to do with him. So because of that, they're using the argument that because I have no legal say in anything to do with his life, that I legally could not give consent to videotape him and have him part of my company. So during the trial, we're arguing about a lot of different things, and visitation, money now again, and then this whole thing with my company. I ended up losing the trial, and I had to remove my son from everything to do with the company. I had to go through all of the social media platforms and delete everything that had him on it. I had to remove him from all of his sponsorships. I had to take his apparel line down. I had to remove his logo from his fishing rod line and put our logo on it. And that was a massive hit to the company. Because when we went out, we filmed together. And by doing that as father and son, it really did inspire a lot of other families to get outdoors. We had a lot of parents that were messaging us, thanking us for, the videos that we would shoot. They would watch our videos as a family. It gave their kids something positive and entertaining to watch, inspired them to, get outdoors and hike or learn how to fish or even just go on a picnic, whatever it may have been. And because I had to remove him and I wasn't filming with him in the videos anymore, I noticed pretty rapidly, once everybody kind of found out that he was no longer going to be in the videos, I did notice pretty rapidly that the YouTube channel suffered, and sales for the company ended up going down. So I really needed to try to rebrand the company without him, and that was a struggle because the company was formed on this whole kind of family element, and that was a major hit for us. We had some potential deals that were in place. we were finalizing details and numbers and all of that stuff. And just out of spite, my wife ended up finding out a lot of this stuff and interfered with a lot of these deals, which caused the other party to end up backing out. That took a major hit. With the divorce itself, I was hemorrhaging money. I said that in the last set of videos. I was hemorrhaging money. So trying to work the company where it's a brand new company and you still have to put money into the company, it was not enough to be able to sustain myself, the company, bills, everything. So that's where I ended up picking up that daytime job. But I still had to put money in. So I've now had the company for a year and a half, just over a year and a half. And the company essentially for that entire time has really been not profitable. Very little profit. My margins on my stuff are not super big because of the price point that we get certain things from. Taxes that need to be paid, bills, that go into everything. So the margins aren't super incredibly huge. And the amount of money that I've put into this thing in order to do marketing and advertising, making the bass jigs now, having to spend thousands of dollars on material in order to get that up and running, and then sustain that on a monthly basis as well. That's still more money that has to be put in. As I start running low on material, I have to spend money to go buy new material. So once the whole coronavirus thing kind of hit and I was out of work for those 3 months, I just dove directly into the company. I was never too concerned about the sales aspect of things because I want the company to be around for a long time. So I focused probably 80-20 when it came to branding versus sales. So that was a bit of a problem, is people that were on the team not doing what they were supposed to do. Some other issues that we had was the apparel that we picked. It was, again, a pretty high price point. We had offered a discount where we were still profitable. And then we ended up switching vendors and doing things a little bit differently, where our margins would be a lot more, a lot bigger. And that worked out for a short period of time, and then that vendor just up and basically vanished. So we had already offered a bigger discount because our margins were a lot bigger now. And now frantically I had to go try to find a different vendor, which ultimately we went back to our original vendor. But now every shirt that was ordered, I was losing money. And the problem is that I couldn't go back and take the discount away that I had already given to those team members. It's not really something you can do as much as I wanted to, because I was losing money that way. And we had some other products that were like that as well, that if things were ordered a certain way, I would actually lose money. Now, on other products, I would essentially make up that money, and if everything would have went right, it would have balanced out and it would have been fine. You sort of take that little bit of loss and get it back on something else. The problem was, again, that things were not falling into place the way that they were supposed to, so I was consistently hemorrhaging money on a company that needed money to survive. So a lot of my personal money was going into keeping the company alive, knowing that yes, at this point, this kind of sucks. This is obviously not the right thing to do, but it will get to a point where it will sustain. So, um, it's just not good. It's not good. And during the pandemic, I focused solely on the company, and sales increased drastically. Um, Not only by staff members, but also by the general consumer. My involvement with the company drastically increased. I was shooting videos constantly, doing live videos, all of that. While doing all of that too, I wanted to launch a separate apparel company, um, having kind of a totally different concept, totally different feel to that company, and solely just focus on apparel. So I started designing different things. I designed a logo for that. I designed T-shirt designs and all of that. So I was building all of that up, and I never got to launch that company because all of this happened. I was literally a couple of days away from launching, and then this happened. Um, Ended up spending money that was coming in on retail packaging, on business cards, things like that. Uh, Basically, trying to take a chance. I knew that if I focused and I did this the right way during this crisis, that this would pay off in the end. So we ordered all the packaging and started pushing to get into retail stores. We did pick up a few retail locations across the country, which was phenomenal. And like I said, sales increased just from the general public as well. So, uh, yeah, it worked out pretty good, other than they opened my state, and I needed probably another 60 to 90 days to really kind of see this thing through. And I think if that happened and things kind of fell into place the right way, I would not be here. I've made a lot of mistakes in the company, and I'm fine with making mistakes. I'm fine with losing money. I fail constantly with ideas. I'm okay with that. I just, got to move forward and minimize the mistakes that are being made. Ended up getting rid of a lot of products that didn't really sell, which means material that I'm buying and sitting on. So I ended up getting rid of a lot of those different products, and kind of scaling things back down a little bit, and virtually just kind of doing a kind of a restart of the company. But the company over the year and a half has taken some serious hits. We've had some serious attacks by competitors. We've had some allegations of copyright infringement that we've had to fight against and won. It's a lot of things. Again, the company took a massive hit during the divorce, so that's a lot. And then now here we are again during this whole thing, where again now the company's taking a massive hit. Um, a lot of people say, maybe you should shut the company down and start it back up when you get back on your feet. A lot of people say just stop doing the company. I'm not willing to do either. And here's why. So, with the product that I have, with the branding, with the company, everything, it's not one of those pipe dream things where you have an idea of a company, you think it's going to work, and you put all your time and effort into it, and it just doesn't. And you're so insane and delusional that you just keep going, and it just keeps failing. With what I do with this particular company, and where we were right when the pandemic was kind of ending and they were opening up, all these states again, the company was right at that point of completely taking off. So I know the company works. I just need a bit more time. And that's why I won't shut it down. And also, shutting it down and trying to restart takes a lot more money. Um, it's not easy. So I really don't want to have to dump 3 times more money into restarting and rebranding the entire company. I just don't think it's going to work. So essentially, just trying to buy time. Today is day 22. Trying to get the lighting right. It's pretty sunny. So I am at beachfront property again. I do like this spot a lot better. Despite the amount of foot traffic that comes through here, it's normal people. I don't have to worry about the sketchiness of Hooker Lane and the people that come through there. I do get a better night's sleep here. It's definitely the hang on the tree with the hammock. The trees are closer together, so the hang of the tree is a lot better. So I sleep more comfortably. And then the people. Even though there's way more foot traffic here, nobody really bothers me, and I really don't have to worry about people coming up on me. A little bit slow moving today. Today's just kind of a blah day. My mind, I don't know, man. It's a beautiful day. It really is. It's gorgeous out. The sun is out. I'm in a nice shaded spot, so I really don't have a lot of tree above me. But the way that I set up the tarp and everything, it really does block out the sun when the sun comes up in this spot, and then even above me. So I have a lot of shade down here, which is providing a really nice cool spot. So that is nice. I'm outside of the tarp right now, obviously, and I do still have a bit of shading. So yeah, but yeah, just really kind of a blah day. I don't know. Just really kind of like, what the F? How did I get here? Why am I here? There's things I really want to be doing. There's things I would be doing. If I was home, I'd be getting up and I'd still be I'd be doing the same stuff that I'm doing now, making my coffee. But the difference is that I'd be drinking my coffee and working on orders. Trying to do portions of orders. So this is what I get down here. I get people that like wave at me, give me a thumbs up, give me a little hang loose sign. People are digging my stuff. I had somebody ride by this morning, and they were like, yeah, that's the way to do it. Bike camping or whatever they said. But yeah, so anyway, I'd be sitting there, I'd be drinking my coffee and working on orders, or designing t-shirts, or something. Since I am behind on orders, I'd definitely be working on that. So it's just kind of like, the thought of having to tear this down again, go to work for 12 hours, and then come back out here, at 3 o'clock in the morning and set up. I had everything set up by 4:30 this morning. Finally kind of fell asleep about 5 a.m. So, and here it's, woke up at 11:30. So, yeah, am I getting sleep? Some, not as much as I want. Today was a better quality sleep, so that's a good thing. That'll definitely help out. But I don't know. just kind of one of those days where it's like, I don't want to do this. It's getting bad. We're at day 22 days. So I've been out here almost a month, surviving, but these nights are getting cold out here, which is really odd for July. The weather conditions out here have definitely been not typical. And doing my research on the winterized equipment that I'm gonna need. I already know the underquilt that I'm getting from Outdoor Vitals. I may, since I'm just getting an underquilt from them, I may end up getting their overquilt. But then I'm still gonna need a sleeping bag, and I still have to get the tarp. The tarp I'm gonna get, I finalized exactly what I'm doing. I'm getting the tarp from UGQ. That thing is awesome. It's called like Winter Shade or something like that. It's about $170 for that particular tarp. So cheaper than the one I originally wanted to get, but this one's awesome. So check out UGQ. I'm really excited to get that one. But it's just like, the underquilt's $200. The overquilt's gonna be, $200 plus. The tarp, $170 plus. The sleeping bag, depending on the sleeping bag that I get. And I live up north, so it gets really cold in the wintertime. We have had where it's been -40. So I really need to get a really amazing sleeping bag. And even the overquilt and stuff, like, I'm looking at some of these sleeping bags and, $250 up to like almost $1,000 for a sleeping bag. This isn't a scenario of doing like summer camping and just buying a $15-20 sleeping bag from Walmart. If I'm sleeping outside in the wintertime, this is scenarios that I could end up dying. So this is all stuff that I'm thinking about, and then thinking about what I get paid at work. And it's not enough money, and it's not enough money fast enough. So that's a major issue. And then speaking of money, so I told you guys about the 12 hours that I was shorted because I forgot to punch in. And I think what happened is I was running late to work, and my typical routine, I get to work, I bring my backpack downstairs, I bring my bike downstairs, and then I already have my work clothes there. I don't bring my work clothes with me out here just because I'm covered in food, and food smells, and that's definitely going to attract bugs. But so I grab my work clothes and I go in the bathroom and I change out of my riding clothes. And I think I just came back up and they were like already starting to get a bunch of tickets, and I think I just jumped on the line to start cooking. So I think that's how I missed that 12 hours. But the part that sucks is with those 12 hours added to my check, it would have been 3 hours of overtime. So 3 hours of overtime, and now remember, I did put all of this stuff on my check. This time I didn't do 2 different time cards. So 3 hours of overtime at $15, that's an additional $45. That's $45 that I need, It's $45 that anybody needs. But especially in my scenario, that's $45 that I need. I have $45 left. So that would have been, $90 that would have helped me get from now until the next pay period. So I'm going to end up running out of money before I get paid again. And, that really sucks. But yeah, again, if you're digging my journey here, hit that subscribe button. Could really use the support. So, but again, I'm just trying to keep positive, trying to keep my mind, in a good bright spot, even though this is really just a blah day and I'm really not looking forward to going to work for 12 more hours, especially on Fish Friday. You know, just trying to stay positive. That's why I jumped on here to film. Just give me something to do, stay busy. So, but anyway, I'm gonna finish my coffee, I'm gonna eat my Pop-Tart, and then tear down and get ready to go to work. I got my coffee, thank God. So yeah, starting the day. A lot of people. But I literally just got done shooting that waking up video, and I got a text message from a friend of mine, one of my sponsors actually, and then another friend who's friends with him. They came across the channel and said they were digging it, and yeah, so offering some assistance, some support. I don't even know what to say right now. I'm like super excited, and that's like super touching and moving. It's definitely got me a little bit emotional right now. You know, super nice to know that there's people that care about what I'm dealing with here. But yeah, it was just a really unexpected. I got a spider crawling on me. These creatures out here. Just super unexpected messages, and might get a little care package, which will be pretty stellar. I might be drinking some better coffee, so that'll be awesome. But yeah, super unexpected. It definitely lifted me up today for sure. So yeah, man, I'm just I did not expect that.
So I discovered a new YouTube channel, and there's a little story around it, but I've gone deep, you guys, and this is kind of a cool, crazy, interesting story of my connection to this YouTuber in this new channel. So I'll get tagged on Facebook every once in a while. Well, when someone has posted something like, "Hey, do you know any artists or designers or illustrators? I've got an idea for a fill in the blank." And very kindly, one of my friends has tagged me and said, "Oh, you should reach out to Corey Hubble or Hubble Arts or whatever," right? So I get a lot of contacts this way. And about, I don't know, a year or so ago, that had happened. A friend of mine had put me in touch with this guy. We'll call him Steve for the purposes of the story. And Steve, when I ended up finally talking to him on the phone, had an apparel company. He had an outdoor adventure, father, son, family sharing experiences outdoors, YouTube channel. He made some lures. He was also starting a media production house that all of these videos and adventures, and he thought about doing graphic novels and comic books and all of this stuff, like a big dreamer, lots of ideas, and really a nice guy to talk to. We ended up speaking on the phone for a combined couple hours of all these things that he wanted to do, and in the ways that Hubble Arts, my freelance business, may or may not be a part of them, right? So I put some quotes together for different things that he had mentioned, and long story short, we never ended up making anything happen, but nice enough guy, really enjoyed my time with him on the phone, loved his energy and enthusiasm and passion around what he was doing, you know, the outdoor stuff, the adventure stuff, whatever. So I get a notification last week, and I haven't talked to him since, by the way. So I get a notification last week that Steve has invited me to like this page, Lifeline, life space line. And in one sense, I was like, oh, what's he doing now? Because I know he had a couple irons in the fire, and what's this new thing that he's doing? So I go to the Facebook page, and subsequently the YouTube channel, and because of some situations with his work, um, because of what's going on with coronavirus and the economy, um, he's gone through some pretty rough circumstances and is now homeless. And he's started filming his situation starting hours before he left eviction court, where he was evicted from his apartment, and he started documenting the entire journey. His first night, day one, he sleeps on a park bench, like downtown. He tells a story of how he managed to cram all of his possessions into one storage unit with a buddy, but now he's literally living on the street. Separate from all of this, Steve has been researching for years what you would have to do a through hike of the Appalachian Trail. If you don't know anything about the Appalachian Trail or through hiking, you can hike that trail. It starts in Georgia. You can go all the way up into Maine. That's usually the direction people go, south to north. It takes about 6 months. And there's a whole subculture around exactly how much money you need to do it, good places to stop. Like there are YouTube channels and pay. So he's been interested in doing that anyway. And because of his experience with multiple YouTube channels and loving the outdoors, he's just taken this whole positive spin on it and is kind of shooting it like a outdoor product unboxing and review page meets Alone on the History Channel, meets a very raw and vulnerable documentary about now being homeless and the circumstances that led to that situation. And he's just very raw, and I'm hooked. I'm hooked. I'm watching the videos constantly. There's like 50 of them. He's on day 25 now of living in a hammock. And the reason he's chosen a hammock, he's going to these picnic areas, right? He's not going to camping areas. He's going to picnic areas. And it would be too obvious to put a big tent in the middle of a picnic area. But you could justify that some picnickers just put a hammock up for the day. But here's the crazy thing. He has a second shift job. So he goes into work in the afternoon, gets off work at 3 a.m. He has to break camp to go into work, gets off work at 3 a.m., rides his bike to the picnic area, sets up camp, is in bed by 4:30 a.m., and starts the whole thing over. And he's breaking camp and setting up camp every night.
Yeah.
So there's this other layer of it that's kind of like feels a bit undergroundy, like, and I even texted him and I said, because he asked like, hey, thanks for the support. Really appreciate you reaching out. Like, what is it about the page that you like so much? And I just said what I just told you guys. You're being very vulnerable. You're being very open. Being homeless is a situation that not many of us have any experience with, but none of us are too far removed or a couple bad decisions or circumstances away from being homeless ourselves. So it's something that could be very real for anybody. And you're being I also like the outdoorsy side of it. And I even told him, I'm kind of waiting on you to get caught. Like it feels like this kind of underground kind of thing. And so anyway, yeah, crazy. But I'm hooked. Like I can't stop watching his videos. I just love the content that he puts out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of jump on here, kind of show you guys. I know the lighting sucks when I turn, but so basically, this behind me is the entranceway to the park that I'm at. And then I'm like right here, right there. So that's the main pathway. That sign over there, that's the entranceway, right where the stop sign is. That's the entranceway. It's the only thing I don't like about the area that I'm at is because any cars can come in here, including cops. So I mean, the minute they turn in, their lights are going to hit my setup. But I was setting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Tons of cars. Nobody said anything. Haven't seen any cops. So that's it's a good thing. But again, I mean, during the day they can't really do anything. It's a public area. But I did also want to kind of bring you guys down over here. So this is a spot that I've talked about this in other videos, but right down here, and I'm going to show you guys once we get down there, but right down here is where the mouth of the river meets the open lake. And this is a spot that my son and I fish. I talk about him a lot. I'm sure you guys are wondering if I've seen him since all of this has happened. And the answer is no. I've actually not seen him since the start of the whole coronavirus. My visitations got stopped for health concern reasons. And the courts out here are not upholding to custody agreements. So it's been over 4 months, almost 5, going on 5 months since I've seen him. That's a big thing for me. But anyway, so this is the river back here, all back there. And then, let's see if I can do this right. So all over here, so where you kind of see that this whole island, I'm gonna drop the phone. This whole like sandbar that's right there, that all actually opens up into the lake. That whole sandbar right there behind me, that all opens up. And then once that does open up, the river obviously meets the lake. And then this is a super, super nasty current that comes through here. There's actually several people that die here every year. And my little wanderluster travelers that I met yesterday, they were actually thinking about swimming over here because it does look super chill. And I mean, all of this, it looks super chill, like you could just go in there and it's just gonna be amazing. But it's not. There's a nasty, nasty undertow, nasty current. It's really bad. But all over by that bridge over there, we fish there a lot. We fish here when this is open and the trout and salmon are running through. So that's where, like, I've really tried to stay. I think that's part of what's helping me, is I've tried to stay in area that I know, area that I'm familiar with. So that's kind of why I went to Hooker Lane, because I know that area. It's another area that I fish. Just happened to not be the best spot to be at. But and over here, I mean, like I said, it's way more foot traffic, but it's way more normal. Really don't get messed with over here. A lot of cool cats that you run into, you know. I have gotten into quite a few conversations. A lot of people think I'm just traveling from another state, because with having the bike and the big backpack, I really do look like I'm kind of traveling through. I know the lighting sucks. How do I do this? It's this damn sun. I am trying to get a little bit of sun. I was going to use my tanning lotion while I'm walking around, but I do have to work today, so I didn't want to have to shower and wipe all that crap off. But yeah, so kind of walking just a little ways. I'll show you. So this is a public area, like I said. So there are bathrooms all located throughout this park. But the crappy thing is they're not open at night because they don't want homeless people and drug addicts going in there, which I get. But the problem is that it's not super consistent with the bathrooms being open. So a lot of times I gotta wait till the morning. But water-wise, that is why I bought that 5-gallon camp shower. So behind me here is the parking lot, and then the building, it's over there, right there. If you guys can see that building right there is the bathroom. So not too far of a walk. And then down a little ways is actual beachfront property. So, and there's a bathroom across the field. One of the days I was here in this spot, this bathroom was not open, and I had to walk all the way to beachfront property, and kind of walking there and then walking back. It's really it's kind of like a half-hour walk. Kind of sucked. Going there sucked worse because I really had to use the bathroom. It's hard too because some of the more secluded spots, like if I need to pee, I'm just gonna step out and go by a tree. But over here, you can't really do that because there's kids around. And I am not getting whacked with a public indecency. So yeah, that's the thing. And then down over here, white building that's down there, that's actually a trout and salmon rearing pond. I really haven't seen them use that in years though, so I'm not even sure if it's still active. I don't know. But yeah, so that's about that. Just hanging out. So I think what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna walk the beach for a little bit, kind of hang out. I'm really trying to get this lighting. This lighting sucks. So yeah, I think I'm gonna walk the beach for a little bit and just enjoy it lakeside before I have to go to work. So it's starting off to be a good day. Those messages were super, super unexpected. They really were. You guys have no idea what it means to have some support, even just by a simple text message. Hey, we're watching. We know you're there. Whatever. Just simple words. This channel, I've not really shared it out anywhere. But yeah, so it is nice to know that there's some support. I obviously only have a few subscribers at this point. Not trying to be YouTube famous or anything, but yeah, it's nice to know that there's people out there that are paying attention. And again, I'm not the only person dealing with this. There's no way, this whole pandemic and then anarchy across the country has obviously affected a lot of people. So there's got to be other people that are living this way, and probably worse than what I'm at. Again, I just happen to be kind of in this whole lifestyle anyway, so I kind of lucked out with some knowledge and with some gear. If you guys go back to that very first episode, I was sleeping on the park bench. I didn't have anything yet. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how to survive. I didn't know anything. It was just day one, getting everything out of the house, and and then now what? So I've obviously come a long way in 23 days. It's just cool, man. It's cool to meet people. I love meeting people. I love talking to people. I've been a little secluded now, just because, I don't know, maybe a slight level of embarrassment of what's going on and not knowing really what to say to people. So I don't really want to tell people I'm homeless. People get really sketched out, and then I don't need that going around. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just a people person. I love talking to people. I love interacting. I really haven't been active on social media at all, which is not like me, as much as I can't stand social media. But I'm always engaging. I'm always talking to people. It's one thing that's helped me on the business end of things, but I don't know. I've been a little bit more recluse than I normally am. So it's kind of cool to meet some other people, and especially some people that are intentionally kind of living this life and just traveling the country and seeing things and experiencing stuff, and then hearing their stories. So you know, that's what I want to be able to do. You know, I really want to get a van, and I want to get it modded out really nice, and be able to live in that, run the company from that, make my product from that, and be able to travel around a bit. I think that'd be super awesome, not only for me, but when I do have my son, to be able to get away for the weekend. In the summertime, I've got him for a good amount of time, but to really be able to just go, and then, you know, live out of the van. So, but that's a long way off, because I'm broke, and I don't get paid well. But it is what it is. So yeah, it's just, you know, one thing at a time, dude. I'm trying to piece all this stuff together, and it sucks because it's like I need everything now, and I don't have it, so I have to rely on, you know, work and every paycheck, and I still have bills to pay. Plus, then on top of trying to get gear, it's not easy. It's not easy. So imagine the gear that I need is my rent for the apartment, and I'm trying to pay rent and not be able to with the amount of money I make at this restaurant. I mean, it's I don't know. It's ridiculous. That's why I'm here. You know, I was adding it up. I obviously did the one video, and I was telling you guys the dollar amount that I should have been getting paid, and I was thinking about it, and it's like 6 checks where basically I was shorted like $700 because of that overtime. That's $4,200. $4,200 that I should have had. That would have made a massive world of difference. And even the overtime that I'm working now, which is not anywhere near what I was, but still, extra $50, extra $100. Like, that money matters. That money absolutely matters, you know? An extra $10 matters at this point. So, I don't know. It's really crappy. And that job is stressful. It's not, you know, kitchens are stressful. Working in a restaurant is super stressful. But this is like, I don't even know how to explain it to you guys. I don't even want to explain it to you guys, because you guys, it'll be a nightmare for you. You'll freak out. You'll freak out. The stuff that I deal with at this place, it's unreal. I want to walk out every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes. I almost walked out again last night. Just the level of bold snarkies that I got to deal with. You know? And I tell them, I'll go home. Like, and they're like, just assholes. What home? I'm like, whatever set of trees I can find, I'll leave right now. Like, I don't care. I have 0 fucks left at this point. I don't care. I just don't. I don't need that stress. My stress, the stress I have is trying to fold this tarp up in the wind. And it's windy today, so I already know this is going to be stressful trying to fold this up. That's my stress out here. That's it. And then trying to make sure I sleep and not get, you know, fondled up at Hooker Lane. Other than that, not stressed out at all. My setup is pretty stellar today. I'll show you guys the inside. This is really what I'm trying to make it look like, is this big opening in here, so I've got room out of the sun to just relax and sit in the shade. As you see, the wind is going underneath. That's why I do want a different tarp that I can kind of have lower to the ground, so there's not as much wind. As you saw, like the hammock and the bug net moving the other night, that's how I was sleeping. Even with my weight in there, the wind was so strong that this was what was going on with the hammock. It was literally bouncing me, and then the sound of that all night long, that part sucks. But anyway, but yeah, having this kind of big wide open space, kind of this little opening here so I can see out, and then the enclosed space. For some reason, it's pretty high up over there, so I'm a bit nervy about changing, especially since there's kids right next to me. But having that side where it's literally just a changing side, because I don't really care about that side. But yeah. So, and the way I set it up today, I almost tripped over my line. The way I have it set up today is I have my doors facing the road. Should probably move that out. It's blowing it in. But I have my doors facing the road so that I have privacy from the road, and I can literally just sit in my hammock and stare out at the lake. So, kind of a beautiful thing. Kind of a beautiful thing. You have no idea how freeing this is. You know, I encourage you guys with the company that I run. I don't want to give away the slogan of the company because then people will figure out what it is, and I'm not there yet. But we encourage adventure. We encourage journeys and exploring and all of that. So I encourage you guys to get out there. I mean, look at, there's people here literally just having picnics at the lake. Just get out and have a picnic. If you're married, take your husband and your wife out. You have kids, take them out. Just get outdoors, explore. I got nature crawling all around me and on me, and sleeping with me. It's weird, sketchy, but it's so beautiful. Just get outdoors, explore, go on short hikes, get a couple of hammocks, like I did. Get some hammocks from Walmart. They're inexpensive. They'll work for that. Set up on a couple of trees by the lake, wherever you're at, and just get out there. Get out there and free your mind. You know, we get so caught up in society and the daily business life, and we have to make that money because we have all these bills that have to be paid, and we want this thing and we want that thing, and you know, yeah, while that's all great, because like there's obviously still a part of society I want to be in. I don't want to go totally off grid, but at the same time, you need that balance of just removing yourself from that element and getting outdoors. So that's my challenge to you guys.
Way back a year ago,